This newsreel is being brought to you by The Flooring Center. If you live anywhere near the Cedar Hill area, then you were probably wondering what the large plume of black smoke was Wednesday afternoon around 4 p.m. It was a fire at the Dowlen Sawmill located at 3435 Burgess Gower Rd. There was actually two structures very close to each other, and the larger structure on the left, as you can see, is a total loss, but they were able to save the smaller structure on the right, which operated as a kind of office for the facility. While I was on site, I happened to notice that a lot of the structures seem to be pretty well spaced out far from each other, of course, except for these two, but generally they seem to be spaced out pretty well. I talked to Rob Dowlen, one of the owners of the business there, and I asked him if that meant anything, and he said, oh yes, with a mill, of course, dealing with large quantities of wood, we want to make sure our buildings are not too close together, because if there is a fire, it could take down all of our structures all at one time. So as a safety precaution, they are spaced out far apart. Secondarily, in the evening, he said that they shut off all electrical power manually to all of the structures, so there's no danger of any kind of an electrical fire. So needless to say, they take fire very seriously, so this was kind of an unusual event for them.
Well, we were called to a structure fire at the sawmill, and when we got here, the bigger building that they used for the sawmill was fully involved, and it actually started collapsing when we arrived. Our objective was to keep it out of the smaller building. We had high winds when we first got here, so we had to make a knockdown on the big building before we could even worry about the smaller building. But once we got a knockdown on it, we were able to save most of the little building. There's a little bit of damage in the attic of the smaller building, but you can see the firefighters now, they're pulling the walls and stuff, but most of the interior of the little building was saved.
I heard there were some fuel tanks in there that had to get out?
They were storing diesel or oil, I'm assuming, in 55-gallon tanks. They got a few of them out when we got here, or before we got here, and there was a couple of them that released when we got here, but nothing major.
What do you mean by release?
Well, once they pressurize, they'll pressurize, and once they find an opening or a crack or a seal, then they release that pressure. There wasn't any explosions or levies or anything, but the homeowner or the owner advised said that they thought it started from a wood stove that they were heating with inside the building. So, but the high winds didn't help at all. So you can feel we got a pretty good ground wind right now.
Other than Pleasant View fire, crews showed up from both White House and even Adams came by with their big soaker. They just wanted to be sure, given the nature of the business they had here. One interesting side note, the guy in the red baseball cap, that's Rob Dowlen. He's one of the owners of the mill, and surveying the damage with him, the firefighter is Logan Carter. He is the grandson of one of the owners. At any rate, I just thought that was interesting. This has been Jim Ball reporting for Smoky Barn News in Cedar Hill. When you're going over the vast array of flooring options available today, why not consider a company that's been doing floors since the early 1900s? That's right, I'm talking about the Flooring Center. They're located at 505 Memorial Boulevard in Springfield, and the minute you walk in the door, you'll know things are different. One thing you'll notice right away, whether you're talking to an installer or you're talking to a salesman on the floor, everyone knows a lot about floors at the Flooring Center. So whether it's hardwood or tile, if you're looking for price, quality, and service, then you're looking for the Flooring Center, formerly the Furniture Center. For more great flooring ideas, see a link to their Facebook page below this video.